You are. This is, well, it's Friday, and it's 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in the UK, and this is the show where Bridgetti and I look forward to the weekend. So first of all, welcome to the show. I know Bridgetti is close by, so I'm hoping she actually joins in a moment. And say hello to Tish, and thank you for the call to action, Corinda, as well. We've had discussions about that, and we'll mention sharing during the show. So there you go. Now, I don't have an agenda, so I'm going to waffle for a bit. I'll talk about the Live Video Hub, if I get it on screen. The Live Video Hub is in full swing, and we have 70 shows a week actually broadcasting on there. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody. Say hello to Alfredo. I can see you in text and I can see you in video. I'm just waiting for Bridgetti to arrive, and I want to stay on this topic for a moment. Live Video Hub is alive and well, and we have 70 shows a week on there, all of which are attracting a new audience because they're actually going live on their own page and live on the Live Video Hub at the same time. So all is sweet as far as that's concerned. Whilst we're waiting for Bridgetti, I'll bring up Alfredo and see if he's got any tech news for us. So let's do that.
Hello, Alfredo. Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Okay.
And welcome.
As far as tech news is concerned, I don't have anything pressing that I was able to get right away. I think one of the latest news I heard is the groups watch pages are now being sent out to all groups. Is that true?
Yeah, watch page is now available. The ability to actually have a watch party. I'll just put that up on the screen. And a story about watch parties. If you're in a watch party with someone and you can actually watch the video in the center of the screen, on the right hand side you've got comments, and people come in and they comment. And Molly Mahoney was running a watch party for people in her group, and she started liking the comments, but unfortunately she liked the comments too quickly, and as a consequence of being too quick, she was actually suspended for 24 hours.
Liking your comments?
For liking too much. She was stopped and said, hello, Bridgetti.
Hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good. We're just a moment looking at Watch Party, which is now available in all groups, and just saying that unfortunately Molly Mahoney held a watch party in her group, and you know how you got comments down the right hand side when you're watching the video? Well, she liked too many of them and was suspended from liking anything at all on Facebook for 24 hours. So the warning is,
oh no,
if you're doing a watch party, don't like anything. It's the safest way to actually do it. All right.
Stephen, I'm going to refresh. I don't see Bridgetti in the lobby area, so okay.
Right. Okay. Right.
Stephen, are you able to see me? Because I seem to be frozen.
You do seem to be frozen. I can hear you, but you're not moving. If you raise a hand,
I'm raising my hands. I'm waving at you, and nothing's happening. So I'm going to refresh. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is live.
Be back in a minute.
Okay. This is live video. Anything can happen. Probably will. So hello to Michelle, and John is asking Tish, have you been watching the Mad Threesome? Now, I don't know who the Mad Threesome are, John, so if you could sort of explain. And Tish is saying, yes, John. As a matter of fact, I left the live stream 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes early because I didn't want to miss this one. Well, thank you, Tish. That's very good of you. Very kind. And I'm going to bring Alfredo back onto the screen. As we say, Michelle empathizes with Molly Mahoney because of the 24-hour suspension. And we say hello to Gospel. And Alfredo's saying he still doesn't see Bridgetti, but I can offer you a reason for that.
Okay.
Alfredo. 2 seconds after you refreshed, Bridgetti refreshed.
Right.
And she's not back in the broadcast yet.
Okay.
So we're hoping that Bridgetti will be back in a moment. Remember that we're joining the UK with the USA and South Africa as we span 3 continents. And if you've got any questions today about live broadcasting or any topics you want to choose, then you can actually put in a comment, and we will feature it on screen, and it will be featured in the recording, and it will go onto YouTube as well. So there you are. Just make a comment and you'll be forever on YouTube. And a very quiet Captain Scarlet. Right, no, you obviously, John, you've gone into retro mode. Captain Scarlet hasn't been around for a long time. The Mistrons are but a memory. Okay, there we go. A trip down memory lane with John. And the recommended upload speed for live streams. This is a thorny topic.
It is very thorny because not a lot of people are able to get the maximum amount of upload speeds.
No, they aren't. I just about survive on 5. The more you've got, the better it is. It's as simple as that. And the other thing, of course, is when you are live streaming, you should have. Well, I only have 2 browser windows open, 2 browser tabs. One is this show, yeah, and the other is Messenger. And the temptation is to actually watch yourself live on air. That doesn't always go well because the delay, while it's processed by not only by BeLive but processed by Facebook. So watching the replay whilst you're actually live can actually drive you slightly crazy because there's a 20-second delay. You can hear what you said 20 seconds ago in your earphones. So do not watch yourself live. It's not the best way to go. And a question from Corinda. One question to ask. Right, okay. Formula One and all like sport news, how do they put it on TV and Facebook? Do they use a platform or software?
I can actually answer that, Stephen.
Off you go. Over to you.
There's, with Formula One being a fast-paced sport, they actually use special cameras to capture high speeds action. So when they are able to put it on a platform like Facebook, then they're actually using hardware to capture the faster frames. So when it becomes to Facebook, it kind of gets condensed down. So you can't just capture a Formula One using a phone. They use specialized cameras to capture the high speed action. So that's kind of my guesstimate because I'm in another group. I'm sure you are too, Stephen, the Streaming Idiots, and they provide really great background into hardware, and it's expensive to get the specialized hardware, but it's always fun to learn from those guys. So.
True. I mean, even at the level of the people in Streaming Idiots, I mean, they are actually paying. They're using vMix as their software, and they're actually paying $1,200 for a camera.
Right. Yeah. And that's only just one camera.
One camera is $1,200. We're paying $60 for a Logitech C920. So as Alfredo has just said, they use more expensive equipment. We can get away with the C920 and a decent microphone. But if you want to do live broadcasting, in actual fact, going back to the live streaming awards, which PTZ Optics did, or PTZ Optics, if you're in the UK, did, one of the top 10 was a company who actually stream live in the UK karting action. So go-karting, and they've got a set of PTZ cameras all around the track. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the PTZs feed their hardware, and then they put the live feed out to Facebook, and it's quite an amazing piece of technology. But it's a whole different ball game. It's a different kettle of fish. You're talking, if you want to do it, you could talk in $10,000, and that would be a minimum. Say hello to RJ, and Tish is saying hello to RJ, and Alfredo's saying hello to RJ, and RJ. Okay, and RJ is asking the question of the day: did Stephen get a haircut? Yes, I did. I did get a haircut when I was broadcasting with Fonz Chamberlain on Tuesday, and we're broadcasting from Cambridgeshire. He was on his iPhone 6 and I was in the studio. He was giving a grand tour, and he said, right, that's the barber shop. After the show, I'm going to go to the hairdressers and get my haircut. I thought, what a good idea. But I didn't go to Cambridgeshire. I went to the hairdressers, local hairdressers. And our hairdresser is actually, it's a Turkish hairdressers. And it's just the best in town, in my opinion. So yes. Fortunately, it's still sunny, and my hair will grow back before the winter. So there we have it. Hopefully. Now I'm going to just message Bridgetti and just find out
if she's okay. Yeah, she hasn't been back.
She's not been back yet. So I'm just saying hello on Messenger. So forgive me for that. Let's dip out for a moment. Right. Okay. Now, Live Video Hub has now got 70 shows going live every week, and you can flick between them. What we're actually finding now, people who enjoy the videos like the page, and we're actually finding that a lot of people are liking the page. English is not their first language. Okay, English is their second language. So they're actually, I'm sort of putting the theory together. They're actually watching the Live Video Hub and all the broadcasters on there to help them learn English or to practice their English. So there you are. Now, I just got a message from Bridgetti. Right, okay. This is live video. Things can happen. Bridgetti's internet just disappeared. What? She's going to tether her machine to her portable, and she'll be back with us shortly. So Bridgetti will, and well, okay. And Corinda actually streams having a haircut. Yeah, from the barber shop, from the hairdressers. So there you are. Okay. Now, I just want to mention a couple of things about going live on the Live Video Hub. Everybody who goes live there does an amazing show. I mean, you can actually hop in and out of different shows and learn a whole range of different topics. And it's better than television, because if you're watching a live show, and you can interact, you can comment, and you can get to know the people who are actually involved, which you can't do on television.
I'm actually going through some of the videos of Live Video Hub just to replay captures, and I see a cooking show too. Wow.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. A live cooking show. Absolutely brilliant. And say hello to Lynn. And Corinda says hello to Lynn. So everybody knows everybody. This is the wonderful thing about going live. Going live on the Live Video Hub. When you set it up to cross-post, brilliant. Everybody's doing that. Nobody's got any problems with that. But the description that goes across, there's three things you've got to do when you're cross-posting a show. And I just want to run through them again, because April Roger reminded me earlier. First of all, the show should have a title, and that title should be the thing that draws people in. The show title is what Facebook used to actually index and help people find it. So if you put your title of the show in there, then you have a lot better chance of people searching for something, finding it. So try and include the topic of your show as well, because if that's in, then people looking for a certain topic on Facebook will find it. So you need a title. Now, you can't go with just the title alone. You need a show description. And again, Facebook is indexing these descriptions just like Google does on YouTube. Show description should say who's on the show, what the show is about, and where people can find you. Okay, so whilst they're watching the show, wherever they watch it, whether it's on your page or on a Live Video Hub or another hub, I'll come back to that. Then if you actually say what you're talking about, people can watch and be more informed. And in fact, the more information you put in the show description, the more likely people are to watch. Because remember, they come to the live video hub and they've got a choice of shows, and this week we crossed 1,000 recordings.
Wow.
We now have 1,050 recorded shows on there as well. So when people come and search, they will see the title. So obviously I've just mentioned the title, but having seen the title, we'll go and look at the description and then decide to watch. Remember, 70% of all your views are coming on replay. So please do put a show description in. So show title and a show description. The more you write, the more viewers you get. Simple. And finally, a thing that many people do, but not everybody, and that's to put in the link of the original show. So this show originates from BeLive in 5. If you're watching it on the live video hub and you look at the top of the post, you'll see a link directing you back to BeLive in 5. That's because if you're on the live video hub now, or you're on the television show network, or you're on the US hub, then the link is above. And if you come here, then we'll see your comments and correct them. So if you think that you're watching us and Bridgetti and Alfredo and I are actually ignoring you, we're not. Unless you click the link above, we can't actually see you. Welcome back, Bridgetti.
Welcome back.
I have had an interesting week so far with the internet. I must tell you that much. It has been incredibly challenging and interesting. You know what? Every time you go live and you have a challenge, it's a learning curve. You know, you simply have to learn to roll with the punches. And all I can say is when something happens, your best friend is not to panic. That is absolutely your best friend. Do not panic. Because, you know, if you don't panic, you can think of a solution of a way around. I mean, my main internet went down. The second one is too slow. And then I had to recharge my mobile data so that I could use that as a hotspot. So that's what I'm on at the moment.
Well, I think fingers crossed that the recharge is good. And welcome back. We've just been talking about, just because there's something dear to us both, is we both use cross-posting. And we've just been saying that you actually need to have a show title with the topic in it, yeah, and a show description. And bringing that up for the second time, say hello to Cheryl. And Gospel is asking, what do you add on the show description? Bridgetti, what should you put in the description?
Your show description should be descriptive of what you're doing in a nutshell. It should also be enticing enough for somebody to want to watch. So it's not just about what your show is about. Is think of it as a hook line to get people to want to watch, because there's a lot of content out there. It could be a statement that would trigger people to want to watch your broadcast, or it could be a question that you're going to answer in your broadcast that will make people want to come and watch. I think I spoke about this last week. I said, you know, why is clickbait so why does it work? Why does clickbait work? Because their headlines are catchy. But I also had a warning with that. If you're going to use that type of headline, make sure that you deliver on the content.
Yeah.
So don't use a misleading headline as a hook to get people to watch your show, and then you're not going to answer that question or speak to that statement. You need to, otherwise you're going to lose your audience very quickly. You're not going to get them back again. So it must grab attention.
Yeah. Totally. And RJ is saying it's important, the title and the description. People want to find you and comment. And so put the link in. We'll come back to that in a moment. Corinda agrees with RJ, and Cheryl is agreeing too, and saying don't panic, and we all agree with that one. Do not panic. And RJ is a good point, this, that a show card also grabs attention as well, especially on the replay, because we both, not all the time, but we do use show cards. Now, question came from Gospel. What do you actually add on the show description? And I'm going to try this. This might not work. This is live video, but I'm going to show this. I'm going to read it as I do it. This is a description that went out for the show that RJ and I do on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Truth be told, one of the most effective ways to start communication, it's going slow, with folks on Facebook.
Is that the call to action button?
Is no, this is just a minute. Let me stop.
For some reason, it's not scrolling. It kind of got stuck halfway through the sentence. For me, anyway. That's my view.
It stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hide it. Okay, I'll read it then. Okay. Right. This is the message that this is the text that went out with Wednesday's show. Truth be told, one of the most effective ways to start communicating with folks on Facebook is messenger bots. Counterintuitive, you say? Let RJ and Steven show you how you can use ManyChat to engage your live video audience. Now, the reaction to that was positive, even from RJ. Well, especially from RJ. If you can actually encapsulate in a sentence or two, people skim read, I skim read, I miss words. But if you get in a sentence or two, just say what your show is about and why people should join you and who's on it, then, as I say, better chance of people actually joining you. And, okay, I'll stop reading now. Right, and the other thing that we discussed is the importance of having the original show link in. Whenever you share a post or whenever you cross-post, always put the original link so that people can find you wherever you are. And if you look at the post up above, even if you're on BeLive in 5, you'll see a link back, and that's the best way to actually do it. And what we're right, okay, I'm going to go solo for a moment. BeLive, sorry, Live Video Hub. Live Video Hub. Hopefully, can you see that on the screen?
We see it on our end.
Good, right,
I can see it, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent, right. The Live Video Hub is about promoting your shows. It's not about getting views on the Live Video Hub. It's about people finding you on the Live Video Hub, then coming to your page to watch the show live. That's why we want you to put the links in so that people come to the hub, find a show, and come and join you whilst you're live. Or they come and watch a recording, and after the recording, they click the link and come back to your page. We are attracting an audience for you and then pushing them over to your page. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for views on the hub. We're looking to be a catalyst for people actually joining you on your page. Right, okay, rant over, or speech over. We're back 3 on screen now. So that's it, that's why we're doing it. We want people to actually watch your videos on your page and to like your page and to comment on your page and get involved with what you're doing. And to that extent, for everybody who puts the link in, the original show link in the post, people are heading back to watch live. When I go to the Live Video Hub and I see RJ, or I see Bridgetti, or I see Erin, and many more, I watch for a minute or two on the Live Video Hub, and then I click the link to go directly to the page and watch on the page. And that's the way most people do it too. And we've got an empty, Alfredo's wandered off. So Alfredo, when Alfredo comes back, we'll bring him back. Definitely, and also interested in your show. That's true. That's very true, Corinda. Yeah. Now, we had, all right, okay. And we're now back to 3 of us on screen.
My
Alfredo's back.
apologies.
Hello.
I had a phone call. My
All right.
apologies.
Thank you for taking it off screen. I do appreciate that. When we do Blubbing for Britain on Thursday, which is 5 a.m. in the States, phone calls are taken live on air. So thank you.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, I've got to ask you, Bridgetti, when you go live and you sat in the control room, as I am now, does the agenda, when you display it on the screen, cover your picture?
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does.
I do find it takes up, part of the screen, so you can't see as well as I'd like to. If the agenda wasn't in the way. Having said that, I love the agenda. Don't get me wrong, but it does cover the screen a bit.
This is very strange because when I'm it's only covering the extreme left-hand side of my screen, or right-hand side as you're looking at it. And
you know what I think it is possibly?
Yeah. Okay.
I think it relates to the size of the screen that you're using.
Right. Okay. Now I'm 1920 by 1080.
I've got a fairly small screen, so that's probably
right. Okay. Yeah.
Why it does that. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So if well, we can compare notes afterwards, but if you're 1020 by 780 by 728, then that could be it. Okay. Okay, because a couple of people have raised the question in BeLive's group today about where the agenda is displaying on screen, and I've always thought it was because of the font size. But if it's the sort of screen dimensions, yeah, that's squishing things up. So we're going to.
I think it's related to the screen dimensions. I
Okay.
think that is it.
Right, we're going to put that up to BeLive then, and hop over to Slack if April's not already done it, and see what it is. Because it's one of those things when you're doing software, it works on your computer, but it doesn't work on everybody else's. What we need to happen for it to work on everybody's screens. And it's the first time I heard about it was from a user from Ireland, and they said my screen display when the agenda's on blocking my picture. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, yes, it is. I said, well, change your font size. And he said, well, I can't change my font size because if I did, I can't read the screen. So I said, fair point. So we need BeLive to have a look at it and see if there's something can be done in relation to that.
One thing that could be done is BeLive can automatically resize depending on the screen size. It's called an aspect ratio calculation, but it's tricky because you have to account for every screen, not just one. That's
true. Well, I mean, most displays at the moment would be 1080 by 720, wouldn't they? Or 1920 if you've got a wide monitor like I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to put it to support and to Sophia in particular, and see if anything can be done. Okay. All good. Right. Okay.
Well, at least we've killed that curiosity.
Well, yeah. But basically, it's more widespread than I thought it was. Now, it's a short advertisement for a show. The show is called I Live Here, and the show goes out. I'm going to put that full screen. I live here. I don't actually live there. That's a pub. I don't live in a public house. I'm putting that photograph up because that is a photograph of the area that Fonz was in. And basically the idea is I Live Here airs at 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. in the UK every Tuesday. And I'm sat in BeLive control box, and Fonz is out and about with his iPhone 6. And instead of actually showing himself on camera, he's actually taking us on a guided tour of the area in which he is. And because he is also the Cambridge historian, He's telling us the history of his area.
Ah, now I understand why he's so knowledgeable.
Right. Well, right. Okay. Fons Chamberlain is the Cambridge historian. He's been broadcasting on radio for a number of years, and in May he brought his show over to BeLive.tv. And previously, he had to be on radio and he had to describe things. So if he was outside this public house, he would have to describe it to people. Now he can show a picture on live video. So he can bring his guided tours of Cambridge to life. And that's basically what we're doing at the moment. But with I Live Here, what we're saying is if you have a mobile phone and you want to join us from where you are, then you can come on screen for 10 to 15 minutes and talk about the area that you know and show the world. So we're actually building this out. At the moment, Fons is doing the main part of the show, and then we've got guests coming on, and we're looking forward to being in San Diego in a couple of weeks' time. And I'm trying to Alfredo, you did a live from San Diego for us.
San Pedro, actually. San Pedro.
All right, okay. I knew it was San. So San Diego, San Pedro. If you could come on from San Pedro, that would be brilliant.
It would be 15 minutes of my lunchtime, maybe. But I could probably give a tour of the surrounding restaurants there if you wanted.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's I Live Here, and that is on Tuesdays. And I'm just going to take that off the screen. And we're back. Okay, so that's the advert over. Okay. Has anything else happened this week that we need to I think we're waiting for some updates from BeLive. Okay, Cheryl's driving and she's have a great weekend. Cheryl, thank you for that. Have a great weekend yourself, and I hope to see you on I Live Here soon. And Cheryl saying hello to Corinda. So Cheryl will be on I Live Here soon. So we'll advertise that when the week arrives. And Cheryl says, hello, Bridgetti.
Hi, Cheryl, and drive safely. See? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed being a guest here on BeLive, there's a see all option. Was that recently added, or?
We had. I had to smile earlier this week because Adair and Theoni, who host shows out of Adelaide, Australia, and have done so ever since BeLive started, rarely have been guests on the show. They just aren't. They just aren't guests. They're hosts. So they'd not seen the guest screen for the last 6 months. Yeah? So when they were guests on the show this week, they suddenly discovered the see all, the live video count, and who's liked the show. And they were tickled pink. I mean, they posted about it in BeLivers and thought they'd discovered,
something new.
There you are. But yes, Alfredo, you can see all the comments, and if you see a comment and you want to respond to it, just do.
Okay.
Yes, just confirm. We're actually Cheryl's going to be going forward to Grand Rapids live, so I'm looking forward to that, because we're going to be visiting places that in normal everyday life we wouldn't visit. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah. So as I say, Alfred, if you see any comments you want to respond to, then by all means do. Right. Okay. And Cheryl's confirming we'll be touring the Grand Rapids, Michigan Art Prize at the Gerald Ford Museum in September. And bye for now. Bye, Cheryl.
So
Cheryl. Thanks for joining.
If we wanted to arrange the I Live Here, do we just message you, Steven, directly, or okay?
Yep. Just message me, or the I Live Here page, but I'm probably easier. I Live Here, the page is there, but it's like getting anything new started. It's very quiet at the moment. It's got 2 shows on it, and people have liked it, which I'm grateful. But it is just getting started, And well, in actual fact, Fonz could probably broadcast for 26 weeks without going to the same place twice. So there are at least going to be 26 shows, but we're looking forward to other people joining us too.
My daughter's on here, so she wanted to say hello.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hello. We've got a new guest.
Yeah, she.
And your
Right there.
and your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Gabriella.
Gabriella. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Gabriella. Welcome.
Hello.
How
Welcome
are
to the
you?
show.
She's
Oh,
only
she's
2.
waving at us.
Brilliant. Wow.
Yeah, she's getting used to being in front of camera. She's like, when I first got the smartphone, for example, they started taking pictures of themselves right away, and I'm going, I didn't teach them that. They just want to be, they naturally want to be in front of the camera. You ready to get down?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They're quick learners, especially when it comes to technology. It's always amazing, you know, in any family, you always find that it's the younger children that work out the tech faster than anyone else, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm always fascinated by that. They have this amazing ability to figure out tech before the adults have done so.
Oh, speaking of young kids, there was this one young child I met on Twitch. He was only 14, and he's already streaming content on his Twitch shows. So,
Brilliant.
I mean, of course they have their parents' permission and they're getting guidance probably, but to start already at 13, 14 and you have your own live show, it's like I'm 40 and I'm going, oh, they're already starting them young.
I mean, we've got all the facilities we need to go live.
Yeah.
You just need to decide on a topic. And I was talking to, RJ and I were talking to somebody on Wednesday, and it's about getting started. And it's always difficult getting started. But we all had, as David said, I memorably said, in the 5 days live, we all have a day one. We all got the day we started on when nobody watched the show, and we've just built from there. And it's a gradual thing. It doesn't happen overnight, does it, Bridgetti?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to work at it and gradually build it up. You know, someone asked me the other day about, you know, how I got to have so many views of my videos. And I said to them, there's no shortcut to it. You know, sure, you can go and pay to boost. You know, spend a bit of money on that to pull in the viewers. But if you want to do it organically, I mean, you can do a combination of the two. But to grow your organic views, you literally have to put in the time, and you'll eventually build up an audience. There is no quick way. You know, you can't go live for the first time or the second or even maybe the 10th time and simply have a huge audience watching your broadcast. It simply just does not work that way. You have to do the time and build up an audience, you know, so that people want to come back for your content. And if it's not your own content, you want to get interesting people to interview so that their content will become a magnet for other people. So either way you do it, there's no shortcut to building an audience. And there's other things one can do, you know, like being engaging, for example. If you're not engaging, you can't broadcast and just ignore your audience. So there's lots of little things you can do to build up an audience.
True. Being helpful is key as well. Providing assistance to people is one of the best ways of getting known.
Yeah,
and to
in BeLive, I don't have a particular show, but I answer as much questions as I can, and I'm like recognized for being a top contributor, and I'm going, I don't have a show. How can I be a top contributor to BeLive? And it's just amazing. You put in the time, either in text or in video, and you'll be rewarded. You'll be recognized. So.
Be engaging, you know, be helpful. You know, it's absolutely the way to go. I've got a quick tip for everyone. You know, we spend so much time on producing a show. It takes a lot of time. We all know, all of us that broadcast, we know how much work it takes to get a broadcast together. Then you've got the time when you're actually broadcasting, and then afterwards you go and you repurpose that content. So you spend a lot of time on that. But something that you can do, one change you can do, because basically, especially when your show is about interviewing people, you want to make sure that you make your guest shine. You make your guest look good. And one of the things you can do after your show is to make sure that your guest looks visually good. So when you end the broadcast, you could end up, and I'm sure you've seen that, Alfreda, and I'm sure you've seen that, Stephen. Oftentimes the video will end and your guest has got their eyes closed because they blinked, or they're looking at the ceiling or something like that, or their hands is in a funny position, or their mouth is open and they look weird. It's very easy to fix that, because remember, that's the image everyone else is going to see, and that image is going to live on. It's going to be circulating. It's very, very easy to go back into your video, edit it, and change the thumbnail. Either put in something that you have created yourself, or go through Facebook gives you a series of thumbnails. Go back, change the thumbnail, make sure that your guest does not have an open mouth or something, or that they don't look funny. It's just a nice touch so that there's no funny pictures circulating of your guest on the internet in a position that doesn't make them look good.
Right. And I just want to come back to that, but first of all, the gospel is saying preparing for the show beforehand has helped me. I don't stumble on my words as often. I mean, you come to the pre-show in a moment. I just want to pick up on something you said just then, Bridgetti. When people are looking for something to watch and your recording comes up in their timeline, the more enticing the picture is, the more likely they are to press the button and watch. And if you, I try, I'll be honest about this. When we finish this show, there will be 61 pictures that I can choose to go on the recording. I try and choose a picture where everybody is smiling. And that's my guideline. It's a picture that we're actually enjoying what we're doing. So if we're enjoying what we're doing on the photograph, then that might bring people in.
Just a quick question about the thumbnails. Can they be custom thumbnails?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, they can. You can create it the same way as what you do a show card. The dimensions would be the same. So you can custom make your thumbnails. I've custom make my thumbnails. Because sometimes it depends. I'm not quite sure. I haven't yet picked up I'm not quite sure how Facebook does that, but sometimes you will end up with a nice selection of thumbnails, and sometimes just none of the thumbnails work. So
yeah.
So for each show, I've created a custom thumbnail. So if the ones that Facebook has offered me is not, if none of them look good, then I will use one of my custom thumbnails. Most times you'll find at least one in the series that will work. But I have had occasions where just all of them were terrible, and I didn't want to use it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And Gospel is saying she sometimes makes custom thumbnails. One tip I do now is, and we'll wait for the tip, just to go back to something Gospel said earlier, preparing for the show beforehand has helped me. I don't stumble on my words as often. Do you rehearse your shows, Bridgetti, beforehand in your head? What's going to happen, or do you?
You know, I prepare the content. I don't rehearse words. I don't say things verbatim. As long as I've got an agenda with items to talk about or items for conversation, that's good, because I always want to come across sounding natural. I don't want to sound too rehearsed, but I don't want to fumble looking for thoughts and ideas either. So I want to have all that information ready at my fingertips. Yeah. Especially if you've got, you know, I've learned now also, sometimes you have a guest and things can go wrong horribly with a guest. It can happen, and it can happen at the last minute. So if you don't have content prepared, it's going to be a problem. It really will be a problem. So do have content as a backup, so that you can continue the show if something goes wrong. I mean, you can prepare all you want, but at the end of the day, we all still at the end at the mercy of the internet. That
Oh,
is
yes.
what it is when it comes to live video. So even if you did a test with your guest beforehand, there's no way that you can foresee. I mean, like what happened to me earlier, everything was fine. I didn't have a problem with my internet before that, and all of a sudden, just wham, my internet connection went down. So that can happen despite doing all the checks and balances that we've got. That's completely out of our hands.
Truly. Right. Okay. We've got Gospel's tip now, and I now understand what Gospel is getting at. So I'm going to go step by step because this is a good one. I sometimes custom make my thumbnail. One tip I do now is when I go live, I pause for about 3 seconds. Yeah. Facebook will catch that. Yeah. And we'll use that as one of the suggested poses. Right. So if we all sit quiet for a moment, then we can actually have, if we do this right and we don't move for a moment, we can actually have a live video hub showing the bottom of the screen, so I can use you getting where this is going. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Right. Okay.
It is a brilliant idea, and I'm going to tell you another reason why it's brilliant.
Yeah.
That first few seconds when you hit live, there is a slight delay. And so if you start speaking immediately when you go live, that's going to be lost. So if you have an impactful statement or question or opening to your live stream, and if you start speaking immediately the minute you hit go live, that's going to be lost to your audience. It's going to actually cut off your initial words. So people watching on the replay is not going to get that initial bit. So it absolutely is advantageous, not only from the perspective of being able to get a nice, decent thumbnail out of being quiet for that few seconds, but your audience will also, when they catch the replay, your introduction's not going to be cut off. So that's a very good tip, yes.
All right. I love live video because people come up with ideas. Now, talking of ideas, we're actually got, if I can find the title, it's in my agenda somewhere. I know it is. Right. 5 days live will be back on your screens in October. I mean, Bridgetti and I and the team of 8 of us had a blast when we did it earlier this month. We'll be back on your screens October 1st to 5th at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we will have topics, FDL topics, 5 days live topics. Now, if you want us to talk about a topic, then all you need to do is suggest it. And one of our co-hosts is saying, Bridgetti, what's Andre saying? Woohoo! Right, okay, I got there. There we go. And Gospel is crediting that tip to Molly Mahoney, which is very kind. That's twice we've mentioned Molly in the show. So this shows, as we said earlier, the more you do for people, the more you get known, then more people will mention you, and more people come to your show. So we are looking for 5 days live topics. Just a reminder, in the last series we did camera confidence, show planning, repurposing, promotion, and then we went back to planning and camera confidence again. So if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, then please suggest them, and we'll get together. And
I'd like to suggest the topic if it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yes, please do.
I'm in a Facebook group called Amazon Merc by Amazon, and I haven't seen a show that talks about how to build up a Amazon Merc account. I mean, there is a group that talks about it, but I haven't seen a show used by BeLive that talks about Amazon Merc. So if you guys can ask around, or
Okay.
that would be a great show
Okay.
that I think a lot of people would watch.
Okay. And right. Okay. Question from Lynn, which is something that we can look at. Alfredo, take that, and it's on the list. Alfredo, if you know somebody,
Okay.
if you've got a go-to expert, then perhaps we could approach them together or them together, and get them on the show.
Sure.
Right. Okay. And this is a brilliant question, which Lynn is saying, and it's how to monetize.
This is a tricky question, actually, because
yeah.
there's no easy answer, because one, you have to have something to sell. Two, you can't come to a show and already start selling. We have to get to know you first before we say, we want to invest in your product as well. So it's not an one reason why it's not easy is because you don't want to use a show to just start selling. You want to use your show to build your audience, to build the community around you. And if you create a show just in the point of selling, people may not want to watch the show too much. But if you create a show to provide value, and then later, once they get to know you, then you can start to sell products or services. But again, how to monetize is, again, it's a hard question for me, because I don't monetize a lot of my shows, but I do know of a friend that's trying to create some products for himself. So
Yeah.
it's a tough question. Yeah.
It is, but it's a good one for one of the days, Bridgetti.
It is a good topic indeed. Yes, I think that should definitely go on, because that's what most people want to live stream anyway, is to be able to monetize their shows, because it takes a lot of time and effort to prepare, and it costs money. Live streaming, there's an expense to live streaming. So absolutely a great topic to talk about.
Brilliant. So that's definitely on the list, along with Alfredo's suggestion, and that's good. 2 new topics in one show. Brilliant. Right. Okay. Now the thing we want to close on and just discuss for a moment, because this is available to everybody. When you do a live show, as we're doing now, if you're hosting the show and producing the show, there is no way that you can comment. You just can't do it, because if I start commenting on the show now, because I can go here on the show and I can type in, hopefully, I can type in hello. But as I'm doing that, I'm totally distracted from looking at the camera, totally distracted from what's going on. So it's virtually impossible for the host or even guests on the show to actually comment live. So Facebook are now happy for you to take a recording of your show and replay it. And it's called Facebook Premiere. Now, you've used this, Bridgetti. What are your thoughts?
I love Facebook Premiere. I think it's a wonderful tool to play back a good broadcast, because as a producer, you can now sit back, you can watch the broadcast, and you can comment during the broadcast. You can engage with your audience, feeling more relaxed because you're not producing at the same time.
That's in a nutshell. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great feature. It really is a nice addition to using Facebook Live, and you can basically get double value out of your broadcast.
And Gospel's totally agreeing. She loves it and she uses it for clients as well. Because, sorry, Alfredo. Yeah, go.
Okay. I did want to mention Premieres is also on Twitch, but I'm not sure if there's an audience of people to watch it on Twitch as well. It's rarely used, but I don't know if it's the same concept as playing replays. But yeah, it is.
It's the watch party, but it's actually on your page.
Oh, Okay.
Okay, so what you've got is the video replaying. Everybody's watching the same video, but as the host of the show, you can actually engage people in conversation. And as Bridgetti said, it simply works. Over the next, I started last Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I replayed the first of 5 days live. So I replayed the Monday show from 5 days live about camera competence with Bridgetti and with David Burrows and with Linda. And because I wasn't actually producing the show, I was able to interact with everybody who's watching. And a number of people who are actually watching us live now were commenting. And we're talking about things that were happening in the show. And, you know, it just a discussion came out of the rewatching the show. And there was nearly as much interaction on the replay than there was on the original. So I'm all for Facebook Premiere as well. So we want to say, thank you, Facebook, for a wonderful feature, because it does mean that we can take our content and reuse it. And just a very important thing that Bridgetti said. You don't want to replay every single video you've ever done live, for the principal reason that most live videos are good to watch live, but not necessarily to force other people to watch afterwards. What Bridgetti said, take the best of the lives that you enjoyed doing, that you feel are useful to people, and repurpose that one, Bridgetti, yeah?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I've got some live streams where the guests share so much value, where, you know, sometimes when you watch a movie again and again and again, every time you watch it, you pick up something different, because there's so much value to pick up in a movie. I mean, just give you an example of Lion King, for example. You know, it's a kid's movie, but there's so much in there for adults. And every time, I mean, I've watched The Lion King a gazillion times because I've got sons. But every time I watched it, I would pick up a different angle, you know, a different piece of humor. And even though it's a movie for kids, there's a lot of adult humor weaved into that. And every time you picked up something more and more. And so if you've had a guest that shares a lot of valuable content, and bear in mind who your audience is, especially if you're interviewing somebody who is very intellectual, for example, and their content is high level content. Because things move so fast, people may not pick up on all the information the first time round. And that's why the premiere is so valuable, because when you replay it, people can actually listen to the same thing again, and that content can now start to sink in. And you know, the one thing I haven't tried yet, and I have ticked the option when I've remembered. I'm trying to remember to do that for everyone. I don't know if you've tried it, Stephen, or if you've tried it at all, Alfredo. Is you've got the option to tick for people to be able to rewind a video, you know, similar to you watching it on a regular player, so they can stop and rewind if they've missed a thought. Have you ever tried it? I haven't actually tried it myself. I'd like to.
I would like to too. I'm not sure that it's operational yet, but I'll try it again this weekend, because you never know. So we're talking about Facebook premieres, and the questions come up from the audience and from the people on screen today.
Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, I was curious if there are analytics after the premieres. Are there, or
right? Okay.
Yes.
There are. And I can tell you that when I did the replay of Camera Confidence on Monday, it was watched. The audience made 59 comments, 12 loves, 13 likes, 237 people watched it the 3 seconds, 100 people watched 10 seconds or more, and it had good engagement. So we know, just to increase those stats again, on the premiere, there were 237 3-second views, which means 237 people saw it, and 100 people watched for more than 10 seconds. So off that evidence alone, we can say that Premiere works. So yes. Right, and Gospel's tried the live rewind, and Does it work?
And does it work? Let us know. I'm dying to know if it's actually physically working at this point in time, or if it's a feature that's, you know, only going to be rolled out in future. I'd love to know.
Yep, brilliant. And just to come back to Facebook premieres again, you can cross-post a premiere. So having done this as a premiere, you can cross-post it. Now, when I finished watching it on BeLive in 5, on the live video hub, I did cross-post it to BeLive in 5. So you can cross-post after the show, which is pretty darn good.
I've actually done that before, Stephen, with the premiere, when I schedule it.
Yeah.
You can do the cross-posting prior, the same way as you would do with, you know, when you schedule a live. It does allow you to do that. But
you wouldn't be there, would you?
Pardon?
Well, we just said that the great thing about the premiere is that if you're the host, you can actually watch it live with everybody else.
Correct.
Right. So if you cross-post it, you watching it live, but you can only watch it live in one place. Anyway,
on one place, yeah.
Yeah. So RJ is saying, idea: do lots of premieres of the week's best shows on the live video hub. Our greatest hits of the week. I totally agree. That's a brilliant idea, and we could do that. Let's do that. There we are. We've had some fantastic ideas, and it's been a brilliant show. But incredibly, we've come to the end of another hour, and closer to the weekend, Bridgetti. It's Friday. It's nearly Saturday. Right, would you like to close the show?
Yes, I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone for joining us live. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, RJ. Thank you, Gospel. Alfredo, thanks for joining us. And then also we had, who else joined us live?
Okay, I can tell you in a moment.
Did I miss anyone? Cheryl, Corinda.
Cheryl, Ed, Lynn, RJ, Maria, Corinda, Dan was here and all.
Tish.
Yeah. Tish is here. Yeah. Gospel. If we've missed you, we apologise. Michelle was here too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think we've got it.
Awesome. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. We always appreciate that. Thanks very much to all our replay viewers if you're watching us on the replay. I want to wish every one of you a stunning weekend. Have a great time. If you're live streaming over the weekend, have a great stream. Lynn, it's an absolute pleasure. So, you know, that's what the show is all about, sharing hints and tips that we've picked up along the way. That's how the show got started. And then we ended up just turning this into a fun talk show. And we try and have it community driven. That's what we've been doing for the last, bye John, that's what we've been doing for the last couple of months. We try and make this a community driven show. So thanks everyone. Have an awesome week. So from myself, Bridgetti in Cape Town, have a great weekend, everyone.
Brilliant. Alfredo, thanks for joining us. Thanks for answering the questions, and look forward to seeing you again next week. And it's goodbye from Wiltshire in England. And I know I'm going to say this on your behalf. It's goodbye from Alfredo in San Pedro. I got it right this time. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
I knew it began with San. Couldn't